Well, it is Wednesday and night number 3 of Western Sprint Tour, and we came up to a unique spot here at the Sunset Speedway Park in the flag stand on the front straightaway to start today's video. So welcome back to night number 3 of Western Sprint Tour, also known as Oregon Speedweek. This is the Sunset Speedway Park, also called the Banks Bullring, which is going to be the smallest track we are going to run during Oregon Speedweek, and it's one of the smallest sprint car tracks I'm ever going to run during my career. If you kind of do a little pan towards turns 1 and 2, you notice this corner is much wider. 3 and 4 tends to get a little bit narrower. They're watering the racetrack right now, trying to do all the prep before we have the pit meeting in about 30 minutes. So tonight's show is a 360 sprint car race, night number 3 of Western Sprint Tour. During night number 1 at Coos Bay over on the Oregon coast, we ran 4th. Last night at the Willamette Speedway in Central Oregon, we ran 3rd. So we're working our way closer and closer to the top step of the podium. We're hoping to win a race during Oregon Speedweek. I've never done that before. A fun fact though, the last time we were here at the Banks Bullring in 2019 with ISCS, our limited sprint, we did win. So this place tends to get really cool right up towards the fence, super slick. You're not on the throttle much, and we're hoping to get after and provide some great action for you guys here today. So we're gonna have qualifying, we're gonna have a heat race. The top 6 in overall points after qualifying and the heats will make the redraw, and then we have a 30-lap feature coming up ahead of us. But here's one last look at the Sunset Speedway Park, a beautiful facility in Northern Oregon. Qualifying is over here at the Banks Bullring. We had 16 360s. We just pushed off into the infield, and they fired us up one by one. Track's starting to slicken off. It was super wet to start the night, but now it's starting to get slick and slow down. Man, I think we could have possibly had a good lap, but I just messed it up. I got into 3 and 4 too high. I was trying to enter a little above where it's starting to dry out and turn down, and I couldn't get it to. I just got in too hot, too far. I realistically should have just been just a little bit lower. I nailed 1 and 2 though. That's the unfortunate part, because I think the lap was gonna be a burner, but I just didn't do my job. So on the bright side, it's gonna slicken off a little bit and slow down, so hopefully that helps us, but we'll see where we end up and update you guys as soon as possible. Well, heat races are up next here at Sunset Speedway Park. It's starting to blow off very quick, and that actually helped my mistake. Also, we were kind of in a panic in the infield because we didn't really bring anything, didn't think the track was gonna change, and sure enough, it got slicker and slicker, and we honestly could have probably been way tighter. So that is where I really took advantage of my wing adjustment and moved it back quite a ways, but I still kind of missed my mark entering 3. Now that I qualified 6th quick out of 16, I'm gonna be starting 2nd row outside in my heat. I need to try to go as far forward as possible. These heat races might be a little bit gnarly with the track not being incredibly wide, but I think we're gonna have to make our moves early on in the race. So we started 4th there in the heat race, ended up running 3rd. I was a little nervous being 2nd row outside because the heat race before us, the only other sprint car heat, a lot of the guys that started on the outside, just there wasn't as much bite up there. You couldn't get the start, and then you're also stuck a lane off the bottom. And for the first heat race, for the most part, a lot of guys were running right around the tires. And that's what I ended up doing in my heat. I think I could have maybe ventured to the top of 3 and 4, but I just didn't want to get too risky. I knew since Banks isn't usually a big mover, not a lot of times are guys going 6th to 1st, 6th to 2nd, 5th to 2nd, that, passing one car should be good enough with our car count to make the redraw. And sure enough it was. I almost squeaked into 2nd on the last lap, but you just have to be a little bit careful on the bottom. There's grease from where they watered and they're still wet, and you can kind of push across the racetrack. But if you're able to hit your mark and keep, your tires in the grip of what grip is there, and really use some throttle control, you can work the bottom and the top side of 3 and 4. The top of 1 and 2 still a little bit dirty. Redraw is going to be up next. We'll see what we pull. I think we're going to be the first or the 4th person to pull a pill in the redraw.
All right, this is Colby Copeland's original one. Tanner Holmes, what are you guys going to do?
Keep it?
I'm going to keep it.
He's going to keep it, okay. Just wait, there's still a 2 out there. There's still a consolation prize. However, I have to break the news to you, there's still a 6 available. That one over here. Tanner Holmes with 18T, he starts.
Flags.
Not bad.
He starts in position number 3.
Thank you.
So it's
All right.
2 or the 6.
Well, better than last night, not as good as the night before, but we'll take it. Out of 6 pills, we got the 3. I think it was Brody who pulled it for me, and he was like, hey, I think we got a good one. So we ended up keeping it, which in the past that has bit me before, but it's all luck of the draw. Overall, I think it's going to be good to be on the inside, get through the first corner, and this is all just going to be 5 more laps on the racetrack, similar to the dashes we've already had. So we're rolling off from 3rd. I think the bottom's going to be really good down in 1 and 2. 3 and 4, though, it's a toss-up, so we're going to have to try to figure that out quick because we really want to maintain and try to get that front row starting spot. Track position is usually key here at Banks. Well, a quick turnaround time, there's only 2 support classes, which only have like 5 to 8 cars. I think it's Hornets, and then we also have some sort of stock car. Started 3rd there in the dash, ended up trying the top into 3 on the first lap, and that kind of just hung me out a little bit. There's not really a lot on exit of 3 and 4. You try to get up there and you can carry speed to the center, but then you're just hanging. It's almost just really, really loose dirt. 1 and 2, though, I think does have a little bit of potential. I'm not sure if they're really gonna touch it. It doesn't sound like they're gonna put any water up there, just worried about getting too much, and then it just gets greasy. But they're gonna try to pack it in. It all just depends on where everyone runs. If a lot of guys run the bottom, the top's gonna stay dirty. If a lot of guys try the top, which I'm hoping for, that might provide a nice second lane for us to kind of ride up around. No matter what, though, you're gonna have a lot of throttle control. We're working on tightening up our race car and being able to get it to move around anywhere we can. So we start 2nd row outside. It's gonna be a 30-lap feature all the way till the end. So it's about time to load the car. All the fans are gone. So many great fans in the northern part of Oregon here at Sunset Speedway Park. And I hate second place trophies. We got one tonight, second sucks, but overall a great run for our team. Man, we're really starting to find our stride. You know, the racetrack wasn't the raciest tonight. I would have liked to see the top side come in more. You know, you could really work it a little bit in 1 and 2, and we did early in the feature, but it just ended up getting so dirty. And then 3 and 4, if you got trapped off the bottom and you had to go to the top, you were pretty much at least losing 1 spot. I ran 4th there, just trying to have as much patience as possible. It seemed like early on I'd make a lot of great moves, and then a yellow would come out and things would just not go my way. I wouldn't get to keep the spots that I was getting. And then on a restart, I think it was, or a couple laps into a run, Corey Day and Tyler Thompson made some contact. I was able to stick the bottom and shoot into second, and then a yellow quickly came out, got second, and then I think for the rest of the half of the race, we're around lap 15, you know, we kind of just ran there behind Justin Cox. Never got super close until the end, but I felt like we were all kind of just the same speed. You know, maybe he has a good lap, I have a good lap, Corey Day behind me has a good lap. We're all not really searching, just trying to hit the bottom as best as possible. I felt like for the most part though, I ran a really good race. I had my wing far back, maybe almost a little too far back because I was getting a little tight down the straightaways, but it got going. Just sometimes I could hit the corners well and gain, and sometimes I didn't. So definitely towards the end of the race, I just messed up a little and was not able to close the ground that I needed to possibly win. But overall, you guys saw second place. At the rate we're going, we have a win coming on Friday night. But man, like I said, can't thank the crew enough. We have a lot of speed in the 18T, and it just feels awesome to find some consistency. Dad, end of the night recap.
End of the night recap. Track was good. Wasn't a lot of passing. Position was everything. And we started 4th, came home 2nd.
Carly, loading up?
Yep, ready to go somewhere maybe a little bit warmer than here right now.
Yeah.
It's kind of cold and I'm not wearing a sweatshirt.
Little windy out here. You guys kind of heard the end of the race recap. Really did a great job. We were dialed in. It's crazy what you have to do to get grip here at Banks. You really have to get the race car tight in the surface, and there's just not a lot of grip out there. So we talked about we were hoping it'd be a little bit racier, maybe around the top like in years past, but you're not always going to get that. Thank you guys so much for watching. As usual, we like to thank all of our sponsors: Next Gen Def, Carson Oil, Lafarge North America, OMA KTM, QRC, Fast 4 Media, Earth Environmental. We also have on-site screeners, Durango RV, Swindale Speed Lab, Ferguson Waterworks, ABC Powder Coating to everyone who helps out our team. Anyway, we have one night off tomorrow. We're gonna wash this race car. It is absolutely filthy after the red clay tonight in the Coos Bay Speedway in Willamette. Get it all cleaned up. My mom and older sister are headed back home. We're about 4.5 hours away from home, so they're headed back tonight. They're gonna be home tomorrow. We're gonna head straight to Cottage Grove, enjoy the day off, clean everything, and get prepared for 2 nights of racing, $2,000 to win on Friday and $5,000 to win on Saturday. Let's go chase that money. See you guys on the next one. Deuces.